Have we ever spoken to any of the kind of famous cases involved?
I think we put some bids in, but we haven't gone anywhere.
So that will be the.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Like a refresher.
it feels like an essential bit, really, doesn't it, to
Yeah.
kind of get a parent who can speak to us today.
I think, was it Molly? Is it her father's talking, I thought? Or he has
Yes.
spoken, so
Yes.
he might do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we had a bid in with. I think he was taking a break from media.
I mean, it may be that because of today that he decides to come out and re-engage, but and I suppose the central question is the kind of so the government's saying there's a new white paper that comes out next month, and as part of that there will be a provision for kind of a compulsory code of conduct that these companies have to sign up to. But it's, you know, have we seen this before? You know, what have the companies done previously in terms of signing up to it, or you know, has it changed their behaviour? And whether that's a kind of industry commentator, or I don't know, is there a kind of British startup that, you know, is in the same field? I mean, it's not really Martha Lane Fox, but I mean, is there a kind of a British voice in the internet world who can kind of articulate, look, I know to get these guys to agree to change, you actually have to do X, you know, hit them in the pocket, regulate them, or whatever it is.
We're touching on mental health of young people and social media. Is that what you want? Is that what you want the case study to be?
I suppose because it's not a new story today, it feels like the thing today is about the government moving to act, and so actually, I feel like it's not so much about the mental health side of the story. We know that that's why people are concerned, and that these Instagram and so on can kind of have this impact. But I don't feel like we need to get into talking to, you know, psychotherapists or whatever.
No, I just heard on the radio the other day there was a head teacher of a school in North London who made the case of, we actually don't know how bad it is for kids, and we don't get that living in our generation, how bad it is right now to be a 14, 15, 16-year-old. And she made the case of, you know, we have all these rules on how old you have to be to drink, how old you have to be to drive, how old you have to be to get married. So we do have all these kind of social rules on protecting children, and yet this is kind of the Wild West, and we're not protecting them. So
It's whether that's a great guest, isn't it? I'm just not sure whether that's. Do you want to go and have a chat to Jordan and see how it? I mean, I suppose more it feels to me like today. You've obviously got to have Margot James in the piece. You've got to have someone from the industry or who knows the industry reacting to it, and you've got to have a case study. And I just wonder whether that's it probably for the voices. But anyway, let's see. Okay.
Is there a graphic that illustrates the proposal? Is it that defined?
Or what they've done previously.
Yeah.
I think that's it, isn't it? Actually, it's kind of, you know, making it up that in 2014 they brought in X, in 2016 they did Y, and
And what kind of things could it be? Just, you know.
Well, they're saying a compulsory code of conduct as part of the white paper that's being proposed next month. But what
beyond that?
Exactly. What's the deal? What would that whole code of conduct hold them to? I don't know. And it does feel slightly as if, I mean, Margot James today is giving the speech, but the kind of suicide prevention minister was on the radio this morning. You know, it's a slight, you know, throw it at the wall kind of approach, you know, from the government, given that they know that there's so much publicity around this at the moment. So we need to be critical.
To illustrate if there's not something a little bit more explicit to go on.
But I still think Gilbert's point about doing some form of what actions have been previously taken would be a way of fleshing that bit out. Okay. And then on air pollution, I think if we just go and check in with Dan about what yes, basically what help he needs. I don't think he's expecting to have a package producer, so it's really, again, is there a graphic there which looks at, you know, it's various medical bodies who come together to talk about the risks. So if they're highlighting particular figures about the number of children who are getting ill or whatever, then I think we just need to illustrate that. Have you done any previous nice designs on air pollution? I don't know, it strikes me as there's a very nice bespoke graphic idea there.
I mean, there could be, but it depends. It's easier, I think, to talk about the causes and illustrate that than it would be to talk about the
actual contaminants.
Yeah, if you're talking about, you know, roadside, or what are the particulates that are affecting them, and who produced them and where they're coming from. I think you can start to see that and visualise it. Whereas I think if it's just into kind of numbers of children affected or whatever, then I think it gets harder to. So if it was a little environment and it had a factory in it and a car and a log fire and a whatever.
Is this for the country or is this for?
I think it's nationwide. Yeah.
So I know London's doing a pollution survey, aren't they?
There's a website that you can check pollution in your local area in London. There are monitors everywhere.
Dilly, you were mentioning about the schools.
There's schools also that are doing their own air testing within their school grounds, and there's one school in my neighbourhood that has paid to install air purifiers in their classrooms and is monitoring and brought down the levels of what the kids are breathing. It's quite expensive.
Well, let's leave the evening team's planning meeting. Nick Phipps, actually, the chap who was in control there with the long luscious hair, actually was very instrumental in getting me on screen as a presenter. First presenting gig I ever did was during the Scottish independence referendum on the night itself. But just to show you, this is Gallery 21, which is kind of off air at the moment, but as you'll notice, there are still people in there. Engineering work taking place often happens. You need to update, you need to maintain, and sometimes you need to take a big hammer to it just to make it work. But clearly in the times when this gallery isn't being used, we have to prioritise. We have to make clear that there is still stuff to be done. This, I think, is the on-air gallery. Is this the... Oh, in fact, we'll go there next. And again, to be honest, although people are sitting down and more generally looking towards the screens, you couldn't really tell that one was on and one was off, could you? Anyway, just to reference back that evening team meeting, what you saw is people are starting to finesse the way in which the stories will be told. So you heard talk of case studies, and that's an example of someone who has personal experience of the story that you're talking about. And those are the backbone of many a VT. But also vox pops, as we call them, vox populi in the Latin, going out and just literally asking members of the public, what do you think about X? It's still a technique of television news that we use to this day. But also what you'll have picked up on. It's not just the reporter, of course, that goes out and has to source guests or choose locations or whatever else. In fact, actually, sometimes the reporter, as is the case with Katie Spencer, who's on another job today, providing you all this information on Sky News Raw, well, when she comes off at around about 5 o'clock today, she'll be straight on to doing a VT for 7 o'clock. We get our money's worth out of our correspondence here. One of the reasons why I'm quite glad to have moved on to presenting.
With no deal with Brexit, then probably on day one, they would cope. But they had no idea what they would do after day one.
Coming to 21, on 22, coming to 24,
Well, you've got
21,
to
cut.
manage the flow through Holyhead. And then you've got
Name
to
her
look
again
at
if you can.
the lorries and the trailers that are coming through.
Theresa May heads to Northern Ireland later. Senator George Mitchell, the man who brokered peace in the province, has told Sky News that Mrs May mustn't make any decision, the man, in his words, make her assumptions as small as possible. And that includes the return to customs checks to the Irish border, since which the rise into Blevins in New York.
I mean, this is significant to Wales in a wider respect because 90% of what we export, agricultural products we export, goes to the EU. But the other thing that's coming through Holyhead, of course, are non-agricultural animals. And they were saying when we met them last week that they were going to meet DEFRA later last week to deal with non-agricultural animals.
22,
Delaware, Sky News
21, cut. Coming to 24 next.
Which will be held the weekend after we leave, we anticipate. The majority of the Irish racehorses that come through will come through Holyhead as well. And at present, there's uncertainty about how that's going to work. Coming through and going back.
Why? Because
24
they
cut.
have medical checks or something? I mean,
21 cut.
Agricultural animals, and they haven't been in the United Kingdom, and they haven't been considered as such so far.
Now,
coming 22
Wales, of
cut.
course, did vote narrowly for Brexit.
Those numbers that you hear Natasha mentioning there, those are the cameras
What's
that she's
45?
cutting between, if you're wondering. So it gets slightly confusing. At Westminster, there is a camera 22. We are in gallery 22. Yeah, that can lead to some mishaps sometimes.
In the last hour, it's coded, it's fine.
Okay.
Next will be the Blevins VT.
Snowdon, I've got half of Snowdon even in my constituency. The sort of sheep that the farmers of Dougal Meirionydd produce There has been no market for them for decades, and they haven't been marketed in the United Kingdom either. They need to be able to export their livestock, and as I said, 90% of that goes to Europe. Other areas, of course, so if we have a no-tariff arrangement perhaps for agricultural products,
Okay, how long have we got left?
then that will affect, of course, you can have no tariff for one area, it's got to be for everything. So that will then affect steel, which is very important for
Coming to
Wales.
22.
No tariff then means
22.
that we could well be
Voting
having
vision,
steel
Adam.
back.
6
And
minutes.
21.
Spitting
Cut.
image.
But you see,
24.
You know, Holyhead,
Cut.
we're talking about Holyhead, there's direct route to Dublin.
Coming to one.
You'll often hear the
21.
director actually telling
There's also
Adam when he is
22.
in vision.
Cut.
Sometimes you need to scratch or pick at something, and you don't want to do that when the camera's on you. Sometimes you also need to reach for a quick drink. Sometimes you need to find some notes. Sometimes you need to have a cough. All of these things the director can help you with by killing your microphone and telling you when you are not in vision.
And then for the land bridge to come through the United Kingdom and down to Europe, Holyhead is the major route for
Okay,
that.
so we're 52
22
days
cut.
away from Brexit. What are the priorities?
Coming to 21. On 21.
To avoid the problem.
Coming to 24.
Well, we've been
21
talking
staying
about
here.
the backstop and the implications. And it
How
is
long
important
left?
they actually made
1 minute, 1 minute.
Minute left, Adam.
agreement. And I wonder how many government ministers have, frankly, because the freedoms for individuals to choose their identity and their citizenship, implicit with that is the freedom of movement. That it's very difficult to see that actually anything will be able to come
Blevins
up
VT
that will
next.
answer this than the backstop we presently have. And it is impossible to
Well, hang on, I mean,
22 cut.
how important this
freedom of
is.
movement on the island of Ireland and right to
21
citizenship
cut.
predate Britain's membership of the European Union.
But they were also, when the Good Friday Agreement was created, that they were under the assumption that we would remain within the overarching European rules and that they function within those. And this is now being questioned in terms of customs union and the single market requirements. And of
Yeah, but
course,
that's about
the
goods, it's not
question
about
with this,
people.
but people are moving as well, you see, across, and their right to choose citizenship. Now,
But that's not affected.
22 cut.
I mean, no one says
24.
people's rights are affected by
21
Brexit
cut.
in the island of Ireland.
but if you can't move capital across,
Oh, well, that's different.
yes. But I mean,
Staying on
these are
21?
these fundamental freedoms that are implicit in the Good Friday Agreement, either we have them or we don't, and that's what the government is presently questioning. And of course, it's interesting with this working group, which is entirely consists of members of the Conservative
time.
Party, which is hardly democracy as we
Camera
used to in
23,
parliamentary terms
read
operating.
into
It's quite an
Mitchell
interesting
package.
concept and somewhat ironic.
Thanking out
But
of vision.
what we
23 will
see
be
here,
next.
so I would be arguing that
This is
for
Blevins,
the sake of
VT
custody in the
next.
single market, if that is being discussed for Northern Ireland, well, in all honesty, to operate through a port like Holyhead, which is so critical to the fragile, the vulnerable economy of North Wales and Wales as a whole, that needs to be extended. The customs union and the single market needs to be extended throughout the United Kingdom in order for that to operate properly. But one thing that I would like to say as well, that we've been mentioning the government here, and going back to Wales, Welsh government, including Labour Welsh government, voted for a people's vote last week. And one of the other things that's holding us back here is the sheer intransigency of the Labour front bench that won't even discipline its own party members, something which they whipped them to vote for, the Yvette Cooper amendment. We're seeing them also
Dropping in
holding us up
22,
and actually
voting
working
vision.
against the only place where Labour is in power.
So, what do you think is going to happen 52 days till we leave?
Coming to 21.
I
On 21.
hope there will be serious discussion about the need for a customs union and the single market. I hope that those who are
Going a bit
working
over
to
now.
realise those proposals here in Westminster will actually start working together and talk as one voice. It's not a matter of having your own favourite proposal and working against each other.
Or,
And I hope the government actually
the
starts...
On 22.
In practice, we
21,
will see how things
cut.
go. We're in this ridiculous fluctuating situation of having a week where little happens, and then when it all kicks off again next week, we shall see how it goes next week. Don't ask me to predict because I have
22
to answer
cut.
you intelligently. But for anybody outside who's
Coming to
looking at this,
21,
who sees
cut.
their jobs under threat because of this, they will be wondering why the government is
Read on
prepared to put into so much
23
agony
next.
for an abstract exercise.
okay, Ms. Roberts MP, thank you very much indeed.
23 cut. Q.
Well, as Mrs May heads
Package
to
ready
Northern
to go?
Ireland later, Senator George Mitchell, the man who brokered peace in the province, has told Sky News that the Prime Minister mustn't make any decision that might, in his words, make a resumption of violence more possible. That includes a return to customs checks at the Irish border. Senator Mitchell spoke to our senior Ireland correspondent, David Blevins, in New York.
On the package, 2 minutes 30. Server A.
If anyone understands the risks, George Mitchell.
Well, that is now into a VT. You've heard that. That stands for videotape. It essentially means it's an edited report by our senior Ireland correspondent, David Blevin. So we're going to step away a little bit from all-out politics. And, you know, regular viewers of the channel will know that I am one of the presenters on Sky News' finest piece of output, the Sunrise programme. The reason it's so good, well, aside from the team and me, it's probably down to the lady that you'll be able to see shortly on the right of your picture, Sarah Jane Mina. She's been joined by Katie Spencer. You guys have been sending in some questions. Let's find out what you've all got to ask Sarah Jane.
Well, this is normally the time of day when Sarah Jane Me would be getting to go home, but we've cornered you and we're forcing you to do a Q&A on Twitter, aren't we? You've had your debrief, haven't you, post-sunrise? That's what happens after the show finishes.
Yeah, had the debrief. I'd normally be leaving at about now, but I'm going to do a Q&A session, question and answer session on Twitter, which I've never done before.
So technology, so that'll be fun.
Technology. So
let's see if we can do this on air.
I'm not normally allowed my phone on camera. I'm always told off for checking Twitter under the desk in the studio, but I'm allowed to have my phone here. So
should we drag in Liv from Social?
Come on, Liv, you're going to show me how it works.
How do we do this?
Okay, so we've curated questions, haven't we, from viewers this morning?
Yeah, so we posted a tweet asking for questions, and then what we've done is we've curated them into a feed so that you're able to answer them live on Twitter now.
Okay.
So you'll just hit, there's a little film button, and then you'll go live when you hit it, and you can answer everyone's question individually with a video.
So it's all getting very meta. Filming you, filming.
Yeah, exactly.
God, okay, and the hashtag is Ask Sky News if you're watching at home and you want to tweet me a question. This is the first one from James on Twitter. He says, what is the procedure when a major breaking news story happens? Is there a meeting to decide to break into other coverage? Right, I'm going to open this and record my answer to James now. Hi, James. I wouldn't say there's a meeting as such. There isn't enough time for that. We have producers working in our team who see the newsline come in, and then they make calls. They start to verify this information. And once we've got enough verification, then a voice comes in my ear and tells me to break the news. And often we only have 2 or 3 lines of information. So we give what we can, and then we chase it up and find more information for you at home.
For your tenure on Sunrise,
I've probably deleted that now.
Don't delete
Liv, just
it.
make sure that's gone to James.
You've done some huge stories during Sunrise that have broken in that way, though, haven't you? I was thinking the Brussels bombing.
Yeah, Brussels and the Manchester bombing as well. I was the first live anchor on the scene that morning. I got to Manchester just hours after it had happened, and we went live. We brought Sunrise on air earlier that morning at 5 o'clock. And it was a very personal story for me because I'd lived in Manchester for 6 years. And I'd used to go and watch concerts at the arena. I knew the city centre really well. I've got a real affinity with Manchester. So that was a really testing morning. In fact, I think somebody's asked me about one of the, let me just try and find it. I think it was asking about, what was the story that you worked on that's affected you the most? Yeah, what's the most memorable event? Mark McGovern's asked that. And for me, it was the Manchester bombing because it's like my second home. So I went up there with just a bag, a notepad and a pen, cameraman, soundman, and ended up sort of living back in Manchester for a week, covering the story as it unfolded. But that was very upsetting, but I took it very personally and really wanted to do that story justice for the people of Manchester. So there you go, Mark. I've answered your question live.
We'll do the video in a minute.
523. Yeah, we'll do the video for that one.
It does. I think that's one of the things we do really well on Sunrise, though, isn't it? You see a lot of the other breakfast shows, they're stuck at desks, and that's what they do. But you, take it at the start of the week, for instance.
Yesterday,
this story.
Yeah. I've just thawed out from Sunderland. Warm people in Sunderland, really cold temperatures. I was up there yesterday morning. I got the phone call around 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon, and that's how it works in breaking news. It was literally, I was halfway through a pub lunch, had to down knife and fork, get in a car, drive from Kent to London, pack a quick bag, get on a train from London up to Sunderland. I arrived in Sunderland, I think, just after 8:30 in the evening. Met the team there, had a quick chat about what we were going to do the next day, and try and get some sleep, because of course the adrenaline's pumping because you're sort of planes, trains and automobiles trying to get there.
I mean, it's full on what you do, though, isn't it?
I love it. And we want to get out there to the stories. I mean, everybody says, oh, it's so cushy, being in the studio, but we want to be out there telling stories. So when it justifies the presenters being out on the road, if it tells the story better, then we love being out there. I mean, I must admit, it tends to happen in the cold temperatures. We tend to get sent out. I think the viewers quite like seeing us out in the cold, though. Makes a change for the cushy studio,
Do you just have a grab bag ready to go then?
You'd like to think I was that organised.
Right, okay.
Kay Burley, Queen of Sky News, always has one packed. And I always think, yes, I should do that, But yeah, anything that's in my grab bag is normally not very practical. It's normally sort of packed for winter temperatures when it's summer when it's winter. I never quite get it right. But I'm always ready to go. The phone's always on, so you just never know when the call's going to come.
Should we do another question then?
Okay, what should we do? What advice would you give to aspiring journalists? I'm currently studying my first year of a journalism degree and I want to know what I should do to further my opportunities. This is from Gemma Nettle. Hello to you, Gemma.
Yes.
Here we go. Hi, Gemma. When I first started out, I only wished that YouTube was around because I think it's so easy to get opportunities now to hone your craft. So if you can't get work experience at your local newspaper, radio station, TV station, or on a university publication or college paper, something like that, go to YouTube. Film things that you're really passionate about and put them out there and get feedback. I think it's a really good way of just putting yourself in front of camera and telling stories.
You are particularly good on social media, though, aren't you, as well?
Just check the link.
Check that you haven't deleted it. Do you think that's a part of your job, I guess, as well, to be a presence on social media now?
It's amazing, isn't it? Because when I used to watch TV when I was younger, newsreaders or programme presenters would read out letters. There'd be a postbag, and we still do get a few letters here at Sky News. But the immediacy of, well, I say email, even that's an old medium now. But Twitter, Instagram, comments on YouTube, comments coming into us via the Sky News apps. You really get a sense of what people are interested in. It's sort of, when we come in of a morning, we'll put lots of tweets out and you'll notice the ones that take off and people really focus their attention on. And it sort of gives us an idea of how the rest of the news agenda's going to go that day. And I just like being able to interact with viewers in the morning as well.
Yeah. I mean, is that part of the joy of doing a breakfast show as well? Because people have their routines and I guess they sort of consider you a part of their daily...
I love being at people's breakfast tables. I mean, half the time in the breaks I'm eating my breakfast as well, so I'm with you on that one. But it's just nice being able to be with people as they start their day, and they're often, you know, we're often the first person that they see in the morning as they switch on the TV, and we give them all the information they need to get up and get on with their day. So I find that a real privilege, and I really like doing it as well. And I love the interaction through social media. You really do get to chat to people and get their feedback. So
when do you sleep though?
Oh, when do I sleep?
When's bedtime on a typical weeknight? Is it embarrassingly
sleeps for
early?
the week. Well, no. Do you know what? I wasn't very well recently, so I made a New Year's resolution, which is still standing, to go to bed earlier. So I'm probably going to bed about 7, half 7 now. Like starting to unwind.
Right.
Like no social media, none of that. A good hour before bed, reading a book and just unwinding. Because, you know, I do run on adrenaline and it's really important to get sleeping. Afternoon naps are key as well. I love an afternoon nap. It feels so decadent.
Is that your plan for the day?
Yes, I'll probably go. Do you know what? I'm going to go to the gym today. I've got so much adrenaline with doing this and doing lots of other things. I think I'll go to the gym. I'll be good today. And there was a really good question here. I'm trying to find it. It was about people that have been here for 30 years. Where is it?
Is our big anniversary today.
This is where you keep talking, so while I find the question, we're looking out for each other. Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. Scott Wheeler Jr. Is there anyone still from day one, including off camera, at Sky News? 30 years service. Yes, plenty of on-screen talent. Kay Burley, 30 years. She posted a great picture on Twitter today of her with all the original lineup of presenters, all men. And Kay is the only one standing. Adam Bolton as well, and Martin Brandt, our crime correspondent, and Adam, our cameraman, give us a wave. Celebrating 30 years at Sky News. He got a nice bottle of champagne engraved, wasn't it?
There you go.
There you go.
And when will you officially have done 30 years?
Oh gosh, how long have I been at Sky now? Because I've been at Sky Sports and Sky News.
You're downstairs, yeah.
Yeah, so I started out at Sky Sports and Sky News. I was the only broadcaster to do both. And God, I just turned, I'm about to give away my age then. I've been here about a decade doing both, but Sunrise 2 years now. So yeah, so I've just passed the 10-year mark. Got another 20 years to go
What do we... Catching you up,
yeah.
What do you get for 10 years?
Actually, what have I got for 10 years?
For 10 years?
No, anyway, everyone's looking slightly nonplussed. I didn't get anything. I don't need anything. Being able to come in every morning. Oh, that's the boss on the phone now.
telling you where your
gift enough
present
coming
is.
in every morning. You don't need any presents. Quite right too, boss. Quite right too.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
You're
going
welcome.
to be taking a few more questions.
I've got quite a
aren't you,
few
I think?
coming in now. One of them saying, "How do you look so fabulous?" I think that's from my mum. Thanks, Mum. Good hour in hair and makeup, believe me, and some good lighting. Can't believe we're under strip lighting here in the kitchen.
No, it's
That's
not
very kind
good.
to
We
us,
should have
is
some
it?
sort of Instagram filter if we're doing
Yeah.
this on Twitter or something.
Oh, Liv, can we
Liv?
sort that out post-tweet?
Come
Can we
on.
stick a filter on there? Yeah, so I'm going to answer a few more, and you can follow it on Twitter.
And of
That's
course,
our
Neil,
producer off camera there, just
breaking
knocking
stuff.
things over. Come on, Neil. You did. I saw you out of the corner of my eye.
Neil Walker's breaking stuff. Neil Patterson's doing the voiceover today.
Oh,
Who you
dear.
usually work with, of course.
Has he been good?
He's
Neil?
been a little bit
behaving?
cheeky.
He is
Before
cheeky,
we cross
that one.
back to him, I mean, is there any sort of gossip?
Well, when they
that we
did
should
say
know,
we're
I
doing
guess?
this new thing for the 30th anniversary, Sky News Raw, it's going to be uncut, unfiltered in the newsroom. Neil Patterson is providing the commentary. I was like, good luck. How long are we going to stay on air there for? How long have we lasted now? We've been on air since 7, so he hasn't
Yeah.
taken us off the air yet. No complaints to Ofcom.
I don't think we've had to use the swear button yet.
No,
So-
but there is a big swear jar for Neil. Doesn't swear, I'm lying.
And we will hand you back to the live feed.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Like a profane Alistair Bruce, let's take you elsewhere in the newsroom. No swearing from me. It's actually, I think, why they asked me to do this. This is probably the one place that I could have to stand with a microphone open all the time where I'm not going to step. Anyway, we're looking again at the newsroom. And a lot of you have been asking, why are we forcing our staff to stand? Actually, it's an option you can have here. You know, plenty of people choosing, indeed, as our head of news does, John Riley, prefers an office without a chair. Does mean you have to get a kind of a computer screen to elevate it. Paul Harrison as well, not one for sitting down. Not sure that there is actually any empirical evidence that it helps you out, but it does keep you on your toes, keeps the blood pumping. Well, All Out Politics has just come back on air, so it's probably an appropriate time for us to think about how we broadcast our coverage from Westminster. Over the past few weeks, of course, from before Christmas, in fact, you'll have seen plenty of shots like this from what we call Abingdon Green, and that is just opposite the Sovereign's entrance. That's essentially the Lord's entrance to the Houses of Parliament. If you're kind of trying to imagine it on a map, basically at the River Thames running left to right behind that. And look, guess who it is? It's Enda Brady. Enda, tell us about what goes on in Abingdon Green. How does it all work there?
Well, good morning from the very heart of Westminster. This is where all of the political coverage comes from. We're on College Green, and this is where all the broadcasters come down for all the very significant political developments. And of course, they've been here for weeks and months on end, really. I guess you could say for the past 2.5 years, this has been the very beating heart of British political journalism. Now, these structures here are what the broadcasters put in to house all their microphones, their camera kit, their equipment, their cables, correspondents, presenters. This is where we're based. This is Sky News just up here, and I'm not sure if you can see her just up there, but Beth Rigby, our new political editor, is up there and waiting for us. Now, normally, we're only allowed to have these structures here when Parliament is sitting. When Parliament goes into recess, we have to take everything down. So it was good news the other week, really, that there's not going to be a February recess because of Brexit, so everything can stay exactly as it is. This is a Henry Moore statue here, made in the 1960s. It's called Knife Edge, and that is something that a lot of people would walk past and not really ever look at, but we see it all the time when we're here. So we're going to go up inside the Sky News studio here on College Green, and we're going to have a chat with our new political editor, who is Beth Rigby. I'll just run up these steps. Now, normally this would be all locked up and there would be security here. We've opened it up. We've got behind-the-scenes access. And here is our very own Beth Rigby. Congratulations on your new appointment. Welcome to your office. Beth is our new political editor. Beth, good morning to you. Talk us through a typical day in the life of a political editor.
Well, I'm not a political editor yet, but I'll talk to you about what do you want to know about my day? What do I do? I wake up quite early and I go straight onto Twitter and I go through all of the morning news, maybe send out a tweet about 6:30 in the morning. and then we come into the lobby. And I get into work at about 9, but the kind of day in the lobby, I would say in there, we have a big press briefing with the Prime Minister's spokesperson at 11, and that's when all the different lobby journalists from all the different newspapers and broadcasters, we all go along.
How many people
The guy's James Slack. He used to be the political editor of the Mail. There's about 30 to 40 there. It's off camera. In America, they actually do it on camera, but we do it off camera. And he runs through the diary of the Prime Minister and all the cabinet and all the things that are happening that day. And then we ask questions about whatever we want. And sometimes it goes on for 20 minutes and sometimes it goes on for an hour. It just depends what's going on. But that's sort of 11 o'clock. And then around that, we'll have set pieces. Is the Prime Minister doing a speech? Like she's doing a speech today in Ireland. We'll have select committees, so we need to go and watch that. Debates in the chamber. And on really big days, as you know, we are here. We'll be here with it all going on behind us. And the reason that broadcasters all come to here on Abbey Green, and you can see, Endo, you just walk through it, there's loads of different tents at the moment, and that's because it's been so busy on Brexit and all of the stuff and the parliamentary somersaults and twists and turns on the meaningful vote and May's Brexit deal. All the broadcasters for weeks have been here, and because we think it will kick off again, we're all still here. So we're not broadcasting here for the moment, but everyone just keeps their tents. I think the BBC's over in the far corner, ITV here, we're here, and then all the radio stations down on the green. And we're quite lucky because we've now got this Perspex.
So I was about to ask, what difference does that make?
Well, it makes it warmer. If you have a look, Jonathan, these are, so this is the glamour. This is the up top, the lippies on.
Let's check out the shoes.
Check out my shoes. I mean, and you know, and I'd also be wearing thermals.
Because
and
it gets so cold
it's
here.
Freezing. And say when I do it here with someone like Kay or Adam, they can't move. Like Kay will come here at
literally anchored to the
2
spot.
p.m. and she will leave at 5 p.m. She can't go to the loo. She can't move. So you get absolutely freezing. You just have to stay. So the Perspex makes it much warmer. But the actual real reason we had to put it up was you would have known.
A lot of noise in the background.
There was a lot of noise and a lot of protests. I mean, this place behind us, it's calm now, but it was full of protesters and they were shouting and sometimes really unpleasant.
Breaking news. Larry the cat has just walked past the front door at Downing Street. We're looking at Larry. No, we're looking at him. No, he's fine. He's fine. I think he's just earwigging on cabinet. So you sit. Larry the cat is on air at the moment.
If cats could speak, that would be a good source. That cat.
And tell me, when do you sleep? You know, your phone is going all the time. Politicians, ministers, people texting you, spokespeople. When do you rest? Do you get any rest?
I don't get that much rest, but I don't mind because I love it. So, look, it's really busy at the moment, and there is a sort of patter to the day where it starts really early and it ends really late. But that's kind of comes with the territory. I mean, we're in exceptional times, aren't we? I tend to try and get. I mean, it depends if I'm doing a live in the 10 o'clock news, but I try and get home. I try and see my kids and my husband. I try and get to bed quite early. I tend to watch the 10 o'clock news, then I might watch a bit of Newsnight or Question Time, and then I try and get to bed by about 11.
And you travel quite a bit as well. The Prime Minister goes away, you go with her.
Wherever
talk us
she
through.
goes,
how does that work?
Well, actually, Faisal, our political, he's over in Ireland with her at the moment. But I mean, look, wherever she goes, one of us will go with her, and if it's not
on
Faisal,
the same plane
it
or
will be
different?
me. It depends. I mean, when she does trips away, like when she went to, you know, if she goes to the States or something, she has a plane, and what happens is we all have to get there really early, and then we all wait for her to come, and we all get on her plane. And what she tends to do is she'll obviously sit at the front, and we're all in the back, and then she'll come down the plane, and then she'll give us all a briefing. And that's like really great, the Prime Minister's briefing on the plane, and then it's inevitably there'll be a story from that, and then we'll all write it up on the plane, and we come out and we broadcast.
You've got no signal on the plane.
No, we're all trapped in the plane writing our copy, and then we come out and we release it to the world. But she travels a lot, and someone always has to go with her. I mean, at Sky we man mark them wherever they go. We go. You know, I went up to Staffordshire last week because Boris Johnson was doing a speech. You know, it's really important that we're actually there with them.
What's the Prime Minister like then, away from the cameras and the microphones?
What's she like?
As a person, what would you just describe chatting to the Prime Minister?
She's not, you know, she's not dissimilar to how you see her, you know, performing. She's very reserved. She's very polite. She doesn't. David Cameron was really effervescent, and he'd chat and he'd come in and he'd dominate the meetings. That's not her style. She's much more low-key. As I said, she's reserved. When I saw her at the garden party in the summer, I put on a sort of really snazzy pair of shoes, and we chatted about my shoes.
So she noticed your footwear?
Yeah, we had a chat about shoes, which I can't, I put them on especially for her, because shoes are her thing. So we talk a bit about that, but it's not her thing. She's a reserved PM, and any MP would also say that. Her staff tell me that when she's really, off camera and behind the scenes and with her inner team, she's actually really funny and she cracks loads of jokes. But she certainly doesn't show that when she's with us. She's
very serious, very professional.
Yeah, just very reserved and professional, but, really polite.
So tell me, political reporting, is that something you always wanted to get into?
Yeah.
Anyone watching, any young person who wants to get into the media, into journalism, just talk me through. So you were in newspapers before. So what did you study? How did you become a political correspondent?
So my love for politics really started when I was at school, because I just loved reading political stories. My parents used to get the papers and I'd go through all the papers. And then I did a politics A-level. And then I went to university and I did a political degree. I did social and political science. And then at university, I did, what we all do. Like I launched a little magazine in college, and I tried to write for the university paper. And then I got a internship at the Financial Times, and then they gave me a graduate trainee job, and then I worked there for 15 years. But I loved politics, but I was at the Financial Times. It was a business paper. So I was actually a business financial journalist for 10 years. So I went on a journey where I knew what my end point was, but I was a financial journalist before I moved into the lobby and became a political journalist, because the FT gave me my route in, and that's what I did. And I actually loved doing finance as well. But I did banks, I did retailers, I used to write about M&S, that's why I've got a love of clothes. All clothes retailers, love them. I used to write about Waitrose, all sorts. And then I came to the lobby in 2010 for the Financial Times.
So how was it when you first kind of arrived as a newbie?
It was hard.
Are people kind of, excluded if you haven't been there forever?
They're a bit like, who are you? You're like in the lobby now? When I started, it was massively male-dominated as well.
Was that a problem?
Well,
how were you treated?
They're very nice, but it just felt a bit of an alien environment, because it was a kind of... it was very male-dominated. There were no female political editors. There were a couple of deputies, and it was just, it's changing now. It's opening up a bit, but that was 8 years ago. Parliament, not just behind the scenes in terms of what we do, but on the benches as well, has changed massively over the past 8-10 years in terms of getting female MPs in as well. Both the Conservative Party and Labour have really worked on that. But it used to be very much an all-boys club in there, and it is changing.
It's changing, right? Beth Rigby, our new political editor on Sky News. Thanks for your time. Fascinating insight into what goes on here. We'll step out of the way and we'll leave everyone watching Sky News Raw with a shot of where it all goes on and what we do here in the heart of Westminster.
And thanks very much indeed. Beth Rigby, commonly known around the newsroom as Riggers. She's going to be a fantastic political editor when she takes over in May. And she also scares me witless. So, yeah, she'll be deploying that against the politicians that she comes up with. Now, what are we looking at here? We are looking at the afternoon production team meeting. Emily Deaker on the left there, speaking to, on the right, Jonathan Samuels, who will be presenting. The chap that's standing in the middle, you'll recall we mentioned him in the 9:30 meeting. That's, of course, Ian Woods, one of our senior correspondents. I think he's been assigned to the Liam Neeson story today. At the very least, he was certainly contributing to it. Let's just have a quick listen in and see what's going on.
Yeah, I think that he's brilliant. If he had confined his comments to the idea of revenge out of an incident in the truckers, it wouldn't have attracted nearly as much attention. It's the racial element as well. It's the phrase, black bastard. And what doesn't come across is the black bastard thing, what he apparently did in the interview.
We'll guess that in the 2 and the 4. The other story that I really like is the carer story.
Yes, I like
that. Carers.
So remind me of that statistic, because it's an incredible statistic.
So 600 people a day leaving jobs because they need to be able to get home and care for people at home. So they've got a normal job in the day, and then at home they care for somebody, be it somebody that's elderly, be it somebody that's disabled. This figure is just unbelievable. So we're going to try and get a case study. I think it's the best way to tell the story rather than an expert. I think it's try and get a real person who is living through this.
I mean, that shouldn't be impossible because there are loads of organisations that work with people.
Exactly. So let's go for that at kind of 3:10.
Okay, good idea.
We need to keep an eye today on missing Libby. We are trying to get Hull University students to talk to us. Understandably, I think they don't want to at the moment. There's a real movement from them to try and look for her. So we're just waiting for an update from the police if they've got any new info, or from Libby's parents gave a statement yesterday. It was a kind of really controlled police statement yesterday, so there could be something again today. It is Sally Lockwood in Hull.
Are we expecting anything from the police? Have they said?
It's just as and when they've got something new to tell us, really. So, what else?
And this fire story,
yeah, we're sending 4 children who died, and there are adults and a child who are in hospital. So again, you know, it will be just kind of watch and wait and see what happens.
As we've been saying all the way through this programme, we're trying to bring you as close to a newsroom as possible. Occasionally that does mean that bad language slips through. So if there was any bad language in the last minute or so, our apologies. We will try and keep a closer eye on that in future. But we're talking about real life. We're talking about real stories. And sometimes those provoke real emotions in the people that are covering them, as well as the people that are the subject of the story.
So Kate, John Cosgrove just did a little impression of her on set as well. Yeah, which might be quite fun to...
There's a social media responsibility, and then there was also a suicide prevention.
Why not? That sounds great.
Try and handle both.
Thanks, Kate.
And so
let's move over to the morning team. Now, if you keep an eye on your clock, you'll be able to see, of course, John Culshaw speaking to Adam Bolton there about the Margaret Thatcher. But this is the production desk for the morning team. Colin Brazier in charge. Sam Foster is the lady that you're looking at that's closest to the screen there. Now, their show starts in roughly 17 minutes' time. So, again, you'll notice people aren't panicking. There's no sense of stress, not much anyway. A lot of the work will have already been done in terms of the scripts and the openers. Others will be getting duped across from earlier rundowns. Others will be getting created anew. And Colin Brazier himself, I'm sure, will be playing around. Now, the studio, of course, for the show from 11. We've been in Studio 6 at the Studio 6 for Sunrise. Then we were in Westminster for the All Out Politics show. But you will know, of course, the Glass Box, which is across the road from where we are. Glass Box, not an official name for it, but it has become so. I always try to refer to it as Philip Schofield's The Cube, but that didn't catch on. Colin Brazier will be heading over there soon. In fact, I think we might be able to see him at some point soon. A lot of people working in this building, not just Sky News. In essence, you've got the boss of Sky News, Big Boss, works in this building as well. A lot of the senior management of Sky PLC. That is the back of Colin Brazier, who's just doing final preparations before we come in. Again, you'll notice that all of the cameras, as with Studio 6, are not automated, but are all controlled remotely. Colin Brazier checking the hair. Always got to do that before you go on air. But shall we go downstairs from the Glass Box? You'll notice that it's on stilts almost. At the entrance to the building, you'll be able to find Katie Spencer. I don't know what on earth she's doing on the red sofa. In fact, oh, she can hear me, in fact. Katie, what are you doing there? Come on, get up. You've got a lot of work to do today.
I'm having a rest. Come Come on, you get to sit on a chair all day, so it's my turn now. So we're in Sky Central, where a lot of people who don't just work for Sky News, who work for the other channels work. And I just thought we'd give you a little guided tour of some of the perks you get from working at Sky sometimes. Look, this is Sky Cinema, so this week, if you get the time, if you get to pop out from your day's work, you can see all these sort of various things at the cinema that we've got here. Look, you've got all this cinema memorabilia as well. Bane from The Dark Knights over there, his costume. Also, we've got Batman as well, so it's quite good fun. But guys, have we ever been to the cinema on a Sky News shift?
Never.
Never. Not on a Sky News shift. You want to work for one of the other channels, that's how you get to go to the cinema on your lunch break. So if I take you out here to the auditorium bit, over here we have various different restaurants where you get to enjoy your lunch, pick from a wide variety of menus. If you're a vegan, we've been celebrating Veganuary, so you can pick from a range of vegetarian delights. We'll take you through here. Look up here, you might be able to see Colin is already in the glass box up there, gearing up to get ready for his show at 11 o'clock. That's Sarah, the floor manager, giving us a little wave there. He's got 15 minutes beforehand, so I would imagine now is the time where he's just double-checking the rundown and having a look at things like that. But come on, are we up for a walk? Stairs. This is where my lack of fitness will be shown for everyone on Sky News Raw to see. But so, if you're reporting on a live story on the day, what you have to do, because remember, the general production team is in an entirely different building. If you know that you're a reporter who's on a live story, you have to factor in probably 10 minutes to get over here and to get mic'd up and to get ready to be on set. I have to say, sometimes I've managed it in 5, but you're generally a bit out of breath, which is not a good look. Right, here we go. You can see all these people that work at Sky who have these leisurely coffee breaks. Come on, why are we working so hard? Right, Colin is in there getting ready for his show. Shall we go and see if we can annoy him a little bit? Now, you might remember from the last time we were talking with Sarah Jane, Adam Murch, who's the cameraman. Hello, Adam. He's been here 30 years. Adam, you've got an interesting fact about where we're standing at the moment, haven't you?
Well, this used to be the Harrods Depository.
Yes, Harrods used to be based here.
Not something from Harrods, it came from here.
So there you go. Interesting fact for you about where we're standing. Right, come on. I think we've got time to go inside the glass box. Obviously, when they're going live, you have to make sure you're very quiet. Colin. Avon calling.
Nice to see you.
How are
I've
you?
already got makeup on. Don't need to buy any, love.
Okay, that's fine. Can you show us
Yeah,
around?
come on in, come on in.
This is your home, really, isn't it?
Home from home, the glass box. Come on through.
So
This
you-
is Sarah, who
Hello,
keeps us all in order.
On
Do
hand.
you not have anything to say to the camera?
No. So this studio, Colin,
Yes.
it sort of moves around throughout the day, doesn't it?
The studio does, the desk does.
The desk.
The desk does. It's important to be precise in journalism, I think you find, Katie. Yeah, it does. The desk rotates, so you get different backdrops all the while. We like it here. You get a bit of natural light, which is unusual, as you know, for a studio. The acoustics are a bit peculiar. Your voice bounces back off the glass a little bit, so you have to sort of slightly modulate your voice. And it can be quite distracting. So, I mean, you know this, when you're, the viewer doesn't, but as you're looking into the camera, you'll know this from doing live location stuff.
Yeah.
You're looking into the camera, and the most distracting thing, well, either high tone pitch coming through your ear,
always good.
it's very distracting, or movement just off the side of the camera. Do you find that very distracting? I find it quite distracting. So, for instance, you've got a camera over here, and you've got people coming down the stairs waving.
Of course, that's the
that can
thing.
be
It's always
slightly
fun when you've got someone like putting their coat on in the background of shot, which occasionally
or occasionally,
happens,
because
doesn't it?
we'll do long shifts, sometimes 4 hours, at which point you've got to eat at some stage, and you'll find people filming you as you eat your sandwich, so
No.
you feel slightly prurient. So I tend to hide where Sarah is.
It's a fairly new thing as well, having these robotic cameras as well, isn't it? Because in the old studio we did have
No, there were
people,
robotic
didn't we?
cameras.
Were
No,
there?
robotic cameras. There were robotic cameras been around for a long time, and you have to dodge them occasionally because the people who control them aren't here or anywhere near here. So occasionally they'll swoop, and you've got to duck.
Have you ever had any awkward moments where the
With a
camera
robotic
hasn't
camera?
quite moved into...
Not really. They're all pre-programmed, and they tend to move quite slowly. Unlike like some real cameramen, in fact, who reach a certain age and move quite slowly.
Oh, Adam's 30 years today, you know.
Well done, Adam. Well, we've done many a job together. Can you think of any particularly memorable occasions?
royal job?
Royal, a few royal trips, they were fun. Royal trips.
Talk us through the show as well itself. So, ahead of the show actually going to air, what level of preparation have you got? Do you already know what guests are on?
Yeah,
have you already worked out questions?
And as you know, crikey, somebody said to me this morning, how long have you been at Sky? I said 22 years, of which about half of the time has been spent presenting. And actually, when you're steeped in it and doing it every day, you have this sort of residual level of knowledge about stories and institutions and the way the news works that actually puts a base under sort of how far you can fall, as it were.
That's not us, is it? What time is it?
Don't panic, no, what time is it? I missed the clock. Sorry, you shout. You could be a five-minute warning. So you've got this sort of base level of knowledge, which almost just sort of needs topping up. And on a story, for instance, like Brexit, I don't need to think twice about what the backstop is, because it's, it's hopefully lodged. Don't ask me what the backstop is, but it's lodged. It's sort of lodged in there. But you've still got to cram. It is a bit like doing an exam some days.
Yeah.
The court cases, you've got to make sure you don't say anything legally daft. So you've got to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
And there are certain things, as you know, which after a while you develop a little bit of a spider sense about a guest or a topic, and you know that is eggshells, and you need to tread quite carefully.
Yeah. And also, I guess, when it's certain politicians, is there a sense that you might know that there'll be an answer that they want to give? So it's finding a way to...
Sure, which is fine, which is fine, you know how to play that. There are some politicians who could be trouble. Funny enough, I interviewed him, I met him in the flesh up in Bradford, George Galloway, who was briefly the Respect MP for East Bradford, wasn't he? And actually charming, but on the telly, he was a hand grenade with the pin half out,
Right.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So there are people like that. It shouldn't render you cowardly. You should still ask the questions that need to be put, but you are conscious perhaps that there may be an attempt to do a bit of grandstanding. You've still got to put questions, right?
How many years have you been at Sky now?
22.
22?
You get less for murder, as the floor manager said earlier.
Has it changed a lot in 22
Yeah,
years?
enormously.
Yeah.
It's been domesticated, it's been house-trained. We fulfil a function that I think, I wasn't here right at the beginning, you need to talk to people like Kay Burning, Adam Bolton, but even in the time, I was talking to somebody the other day about the sort of that time around about 9/11 in particular. And Adam will remember this stuff. We took sort of risks in the field, places like Afghanistan, Iraq, southern Lebanon, which we wouldn't take now.
Really?
Really. I look back and I think, that was hairy. And I think it was partly because we were still a little bit wet behind the ears, our sense of risk management. The whole industry's changed in this regard. It was a little bit Wild Westy, and that's definitely changed now.
What's your take on social media? Do you think it has become a part of a journalist's role to engage with that?
I think back, and I'm 50, and therefore all middle-aged men think the world is going to hell in a handcart, don't they? But I remember interviewing Sebastian Faulks, a novelist, Birdsong, most memorably, who said to me, this was the first, on air, said to me, this is the first generation in human history which will be more stupid than the previous one, which is never, is a very tendentious thing to say. But I think, he's a literary figure, he's a thoughtful man, and it was an interesting idea. I say no more than that he was suggesting that social media is not making us more thoughtful, actually.
How long have we got until...
How long have we got, Sarah?
10:52. 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Till on air?
Till on air.
Right.
Can we have a quick look at your rundown as well? So what have we got coming up?
All the sites that might be about. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Coffee, essential.
Coffee essential. You've got to raise your metabolic rate. The doctor's not happy about that.
Scripts, because if anything goes wrong and the computer crashes...
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, again, in some respects, working in a studio is easier than your job sort of on the road. But I remember when in the late 90s, was it late 90s, covering a story about foot and mouth and having a young baby at home and not sleeping much that night before, fine through the day, getting to the 5 o'clock broadcast and just losing my train of thought quite horribly. Such that I thought that's the end of my TV career. And somebody reminded me of that thing that happened, a not dissimilar thing happened to Winston Churchill in the House of Commons, where launching into a long speech, got halfway through it, and then completely forgot where he was, what he was saying. And thereafter, he always made sure he had a piece of paper with 4 words scribbled on it, little keywords that could just prompt him into another thought. So I tend to do that. If I'm doing an interview, I'll just have some words, particularly if I'm at the news wall, because, your mind can sometimes stray, can't it? And go on
I
vacation.
always have notes in my hands.
Just a couple of words.
Even if you don't look
just
at
a jog. Just a jog. And this is slightly different. The scripts are, the autocue does fail periodically. The key thing is just not to be scared.
Yeah.
You know, you are talking to one person, aren't you? I mean, not literally. But it's a conversation. And I think I hope we've moved away from that slightly sort of declamatory style of news presenting, which was about this sort of Walter Cronkite authority figure, this is the news, to something a bit more curious, a bit more thoughtful. And I think of someone like Evan Davis, for instance, on BBC Now, the PM presenter, who absolutely exemplifies that people are not going to buy anymore that we know everything, because they know lots as well now. We're not the custodians of information like we used to be. So that sort of authority, that false authority that we used to try and communicate in this very declamatory way, is old hat.
Well, we do have to leave you to it. You want a glug of your coffee before you start as well. Just to sum up, first couple of stories that we're doing.
Well, this dreadful house fire in Stafford is going to... We've got a reporter on the scene there who'll tell us what they know.
Right.
Again, I mean, she may not know as much as she's able to tell us at this stage for legal reasons or reasons around sensitivity towards the family. Dreadful story. That will probably leave the bulletin all day, I would have thought.
Leave you to it, and we'll be quietly lurking in the background, so apologies if you hear us making the noise in the background. Good luck. Thank you for talking to us, Colin. So what are we on? We're on 10:55, so 5 minutes before Colin goes live, and we'll just creep out so we're not in shot, and we'll leave you to go back to the live feed.
Katie, thanks very much indeed. Just again, Colin Brazier, of course, has been in this game for many, many years, but, you know, we're 4 minutes ahead of the top of the hour, and he's quite happy to talk away about how he does his job, about what comes on. We are surrounded with quality and experience here at Sky News. This is Gallery 22, just as our all-out politics approaches the end of the hour.
On the bumper.
I'll take it to 35. So
10 seconds. 9.
78.
And moving us into weather as well. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping. Our Europe correspondent, Mark Stone, has been in touch. He's asked me to say hello to all of you watching us on Sky News Raw in 523 or elsewhere. Mark Stone already owes me six pints for getting the word hamster into a two-way 10 years ago. So that's another 6 pints you owe me, Mark.
20 on weather.
Also, big shout out to those watching from the canoe. We know you're watching today. But again, we're going to be moving from Gallery 22 back to Gallery 21 as transmission moves from Westminster to the glass box.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rolling bumper, 5 seconds. 4. Sponsor wipe next. 3.
Teasing State of the Union at the end as well.
1. Wiping. Envision. Q.
Well, that's all
15 to
from,
bumper.
Politics here on Sky News. Please join us again tomorrow on our 30th and 1 day
10 to bumper.
Coming up, the latest
9,
from Stafford
8,
as for
Scroll down to Q. Scroll down to Q. Read on.
4,
read on.
And just before we go, time to tell you tonight we have a special programme here on Sky News. President Trump's State of the Union address.
Rolling bumper.
2 a.m.
5 seconds. 4.
2 to a fair.
1.
Just got in there. Just got it. Sorry, that was a bit tight at the end. Great stuff.
And we managed to squeeze in every single bit of information that we needed to there. Adam Bolton, a complete pro. Now it's just a little bit of prep time ahead of Colin Brazier taking over in the glass box. And let's just watch as this gallery is essentially unstaffed. Let's move back to Gallery 21.
Have we got cameras? Claire? Brilliant. I want an MCU of Colin, please. And then out of the openers, Claire, just
cue you for that pull-out.
TX Gallery. We are now in Gallery 21, okay?
Have you spoken to Downing Street then? I have. Downing Street are happy to. Stop it.
I don't want a big logo pushing, just a desk-wide loose MCU.
Go ahead, knock 10.
We've got Becky. Yeah, we have.
You want the who? Yeah.
So Downing Street
yes, thank you,
and Stafford, both live shots in the openers, okay, in 1 minute. Becky, as soon as we're off the live shot, you can run in, okay?
Yeah,
I've got you reading a statement and a grab. We haven't got the grab yet. I'll let you know, okay? Someone will let you know.
Then.
I've got the graphic, though. I think I've got the graphic. So ident opens to Colin. Got an LVO, then a live shot OS6, followed by a live shot OS5. 2 more LVOs, then a full SOT Neeson grab. Can you shout at me?
Becky on OS6. Becky Hayes out in the gallery. As soon as we are clear of your live shot opener, I will step in
do a
if
map
I you,
into boxes with OS6.
1 minute. Yeah, I was just going to say, so the graphic is there for you to speak
45
to.
seconds to
The
Ireland.
grab is not there yet. I will talk.
Also, you all right?
I will let you know as
Colin,
soon
you're
as,
next
because it's
door.
just
What's
fed.
this?
As you know.
That's
grand thing in the back of the chair.
Confidence is high, Ben.
Adam G is the
Nice
producer.
Guys, Adam here
bottom
to
left
shout
there,
as soon as
Ben
that
Fisher,
grab
the
is good to go
director.
for
They are running the
House
show now, so let's listen in 50 seconds to the top of the hour.
30 seconds to Ireland roll.
Thanks, man.
45 seconds to you guys.
30 seconds to the idea.
Okay, stand by. 30 seconds to your live shot.
Alan,
20 seconds.
house fire grab,
Yes.
page 27, as you know,
20.
could appear any moment. It's not there yet.
10 seconds.
15.
9.
Ident next. Here we go.
7, 6, 5 seconds. 4,
8,
3,
7,
2,
6.
1. All the idents.
Ident's running. Stand by. 15 seconds to camera 8.
Coming to Colin